There is a new sub shop in town, and it's delighting eyeballs all over social media after one of their signature creations spread like wildfire. Kyle Peacock is the owner of Cree Subs. It's located on the Enoch Cree First Nation just outside of Edmonton. He lets us in now for a sneak peek at how the magic is made. Kyle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so thankful that you can join us. It looks like you've got a busy day going on there.
Yes, well, we have a big lunch crowd all the time every day.
Why did you pick a sub shop to open? Before we get to the amazing creations, I want to know what about this sub shop that interested you in getting into that business?
Well, it's always been a dream of mine. I always wanted to have my own sub shop. I was going to initially get Mr. Sub in here, but their food comes from Toronto and my stuff comes from right across the street. So I made up my own store instead on my to have fresher homemade soup and bannock and fresher vegetables and the bread from the Italian bakery in Edmonton.
You've got a new twist on some of our favorite Res classics. Tell us about bologna and chip sub. How did this come to be?
Oh, you know what? Personally, first time I seen it was a few weeks ago. The owner of Cree Coffee started making this. He said it's called a powwow special sandwich or whatever, and I'll show you how it looks. It's right here. Give me a second.
Yeah. We want you to walk us through the process.
This is what they do. My sorted sub has ham, salami, and smoked bologna on it, and I seen him crushing chips on it, and he said it's a powwow special. So a person started doing that at my store, and others do it as well. But I'm a nutrition coach myself. I eat turkey on whole wheat.
So the nutrition coach in you is avoiding the bologna and chips powwow special,
yeah.
but you have a customer base that loves it.
And we also have a soup that all of our cookums in the past used to make and present. It's the hangover soup.
Oh,
it's
let's get a good close-up of that one.
It sells a lot. Can you see it?
Well, we're going to get a zoom in there. Chris, the camera guy, will zoom in for us.
Can you see that at all?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
There you go.
Oh,
just like cookums,
yes.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other creations that you have going on there in your sub shop?
Well, we also have we have cookies for kids that are made right here in our ovens. Our soups are made from scratch every day. We start at 9 a.m. and they're ready by about 11ish. So I'm going the extra mile to make sure I brought healthy food to the First Nations. Mm-hmm. You know, that was my choice of food, was subs and soups that were fresh and homemade.
You were telling me when we chatted on the phone about a soup that I have never heard of before, a shepherd's pie soup. What's that all about?
Which one is that, sorry?
The shepherd's pie soup.
Oh, I invented that about a month ago. A lot of people like shepherd's pie, so I made up my own recipe, and it's also a big seller here. We have that twice a week.
And so tell us a little bit about some of the other subs. Does everything have bologna?
The Philly steak sandwich is a big seller too. I hung out at some Philly steak sandwiches places, and I kind of stole the best from other sandwich places. Like my Italian sandwich I got, my Italian sub, I get all my ingredients right from the Italian Center in Edmonton, which is capicola, mortadella, and Genoa salami, but and provolone cheese. But we can also add all the veggies you want on it. So I take the extra mile to make the sandwiches that much better for my customers.
What about a franchise? Ever thought about, just going to stay at Enoch, or you got plans to expand?
I've only been open up for almost 7 weeks, and this store is going so well. It's something to think about in the future, but right now I'm going with what works, and it's doing well with the casino being closed too. We're located right beside the casino at our Shell gas station called River Cree Convenience Store. And my store wouldn't do well if it wasn't located here, because there's a lot of customers that are First Nations that come here for the tax exemption cards.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, the store wouldn't do as good as it's doing if I was located somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the word of mouth is out there now, and I'm on the CFWE native radio station also. So yeah, so they called me a a marketing genius, but it was all by accident.
Well, sometimes that's what makes it genius, right? Is it
Yeah,
mostly indigenous customers, non-indigenous customers? You get a mix?
Pardon me, I couldn't hear that properly.
Is it mostly indigenous customers, or is there a mix of indigenous and
Oh,
non-indigenous?
it's a variety. It's a variety of customers. We have more and more non-natives coming into our store and trying our food and coming back because our food is fresh. Mr. Sub comes from Toronto. Subway comes from the States. Mine comes from across the street.
Love it. Well, thank you for letting us in and giving us a tour.
You're welcome.
Of Cree Subs. We're going to have a little bit more of that on APTN National News in the coming days.
And we are located right across from the River Cree Casino.
Just
we'll be
outside
opening
of
up
Edmonton.
soon. Thank you. Yeah, on the west side of Edmonton, yes.
Perfect.